So this should be interesting. I'm driving about 35 minutes from home, right to the edge of the lot, to our friends who live on the border of Dordogne. And it's going to be interesting because we're meeting friends of ours who've decided that the lot isn't for them. Meet Elaine and Andrew. We've driven for about, 35 minutes from us.
Yeah.
But you're close to the Dordogne.
We are 10 minutes to the border of the Dordogne.
Yeah.
So when we go from here to Amy, you actually pass the sign, welcome to the Dordogne. So it's literally 10 minutes. So we're on the border.
Except the greeners. That's what it says at the bottom in there. Welcome to the Dordogne. But the thing about it here, it's a warm pocket, isn't it? I think it's one of the warmest places in France. And in the summer, it will get really hot.
Well, I'm hot. I'm in my shorts.
Yes, you're in your
Summer
shorts.
has officially started.
Not quite that hot, but yeah. In the summer, you do get really high temperatures here. And the grass all goes brown.
Yes, that's the downside.
Well,
Because the grass is brown.
I say grass, it's more weeds. The weeds all go brown.
Is grass similar to grass, or is it?
It's
Oh, no.
It's a little bit greener. It's a little bit greener. Yes.
The grass.
The grass.
Is there a castle nearby or a
Yes.
castle?
There's a castle and there's a bath.
There's a bath. There's no bath, it's a bath.
But there's chateaux here, aren't they? So we can't have that argument.
Yes, I think we're too common for here, aren't
Yeah.
we? That's what it is.
That's one of the problems. Yeah.
So how long have you been here now?
Well, we've lived in France for around about 4 years, perhaps just over 4 years.
Yeah.
We've lived in this house for just over 2
Yes,
years.
it'll be 3 years in October that we've been in
Yeah.
this house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were further north, not far from Limoges. It was about an hour east of Limoges. So it was a lot different up there. It was very wet, quite wet and cold up there. It was forever raining
Yeah.
Oh, really?
up there, yeah, forever. But it's very green. It's a very green area up there.
It's
Yeah.
amazing how different all the
Yeah.
locations are, isn't it? I know as you get closer to the Atlantic, it's a very rainy,
Yeah.
very rainy area. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Places, they call Bordeaux the rainy city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. But you've been here now and you've tried it. But we had this conversation the other day.
Yes.
It's just not for you, is it?
Yes.
Well, I think ever since we came here, we've never said, wow, this is wonderful, we're so happy, this is utopia. It just hasn't been utopia right from the start. It's somehow been a bit of a struggle all the way through. We've had different struggles. And it's it's a bit like the scales, isn't it, about enjoying life, but then there's still things that you don't like, but the scales balance out. And unfortunately, the scales have tipped over the time we've been here. They've tipped to the point that we are planning on selling up and leaving, as you know, and moving to Spain.
Another country.
Yeah.
Another
But
country.
staying in Europe.
Yes.
You're not going
Yes.
to do that sort of, we're going back to...
We definitely
No.
do not want to go back to the UK. Not at this stage anyway.
I think the UK news and politics and finances just get worse daily, don't they, And it would be difficult now because we haven't kept up with the massively increasing house prices in the UK.
Yeah.
Yes.
It would be very difficult for us to buy a property now,
Yeah, because it's so much more expensive, isn't
We'd
it?
literally be looking for probably a terraced house,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could buy something, but it wouldn't be what we would want.
Not what we used to.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean,
Yeah.
this house is beautiful.
It is. The house is. I mean, I love the house.
Pick it up and take it somewhere
Yeah,
else.
you could pick it up. I loved it as soon as we came to view, even from the outside.
Yeah.
Because I've always liked curb appeal houses. I like to look at a house and go, oh, isn't that lovely? And I did that for this one, didn't I? I didn't quite go, oh, isn't that lovely? But, that's what I thought. So the house, we have got no complaints at all about the house. It's economical to run. It's not too big. So it's ideal.
Well, the heat pump fitted as well. It was an old oil boiler when we first got the house, but we had a heat pump fitted, and it's just so economical.
It is.
The worst, coldest day was sort of €6 for the day's heating.
That's mad,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Not just heating, everything in the house.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the positives, shall
Yeah.
we?
Yeah.
What have you enjoyed about being in this region, I suppose?
I'll tell you one thing about it. It's very pretty.
Yes. Picturesque.
Picturesque area. Beautiful.
Picturesque.
You know, as you drive along, there's some beautiful areas. You are in a fairly good position as well for half an hour down the road. There's a train station in Marmande, and we can get the train then to Bordeaux, from Bordeaux to Paris, just over 2 hours, which is phenomenal. So you can literally be in Paris. You set off in the morning, be in Paris in the afternoon. So travel-wise, it's a good centre for travel. You can travel to Spain from here on
Yes.
trains.
Which is what we're doing next month.
South Coast, we've driven down to the South Coast from here. It's not a great big journey. So travel's a definite.
Travel's a definite, and crime-wise as well.
Oh yeah.
Around here, you never hear of anything, and
So far.
don't know how many. Well, yes, but I don't know how many times we've gone to bed and not locked the door. You know, if we've had visitors
Yeah.
they've come in that way, but we always send them out the servants' entrance downstairs in the garage, which is where which is where you'd be going. And so we forget sometimes that door was unlocked, and we did it just a couple of weeks ago as well. And
the patio, we've left
the patio as well, but we never worry. So that's a big plus.
But now we're on film saying that. We
Yes.
might be warning a few people.
And you're an ex-policeman, so I guess if you worked here as a policeman, it'd be quite life for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, I think
it
they
would.
seem to have a quiet life here.
Yeah, from what we know anyway, yes, so I think that's a plus. What else?
I was scraping the barrel there.
No, it's just, you know, when you're on the spot, you can't.
No, of course. But I mean, we've touched on some of the positives. Some of the positives are the cost of living here, surely. You know, the cost of heating, the cost of...
The cost of heating, yes, but the cost of living, other than the electric, what we've just obviously said, but we have found over the time we've been in France that the general day-to-day cost of living has gone up.
Right.
And that is one of the reasons actually why we've chosen Spain as well, because we know that is a lot less. So, yeah, we do find things pricey sometimes, don't we?
I mean, I do know that people cross the border, people that live in France, cross the border if they live nearby to go shopping in Spain.
Yes,
because
exactly.
it is a lot cheaper.
There's a few things. I mean, spirits are a lot cheaper. I mean, drastically cheaper.
The important stuff.
Yes, which is the main reason for crossing the border. But no, we're not smokers, but we understand cigarettes, tobacco.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a friend that does roll your owns, and
he does every 6 weeks. He goes, doesn't he?
Less than, I think it was something like a quarter of the price. For that, and there's a few things like that. Meat as well was a lot cheaper.
Yes, and the big one actually. We're talking about travel and going on trains because we do like to travel.
Yeah.
So this is just an example of the difference. So here in France we have an over 60s discount train voucher card for a year.
We manage to get on the trains, don't we? We manage. There's quite a step, isn't it, to get on the train?
Well, it might be for you, but I'm all right. But we've just bought one of those about 3 months ago, and it lasts for a year, and you get 25 to 30% off.
It's something like
that, and it's €49 each.
Wow.
So we've paid that.
Yeah.
In Spain, we went to Spain last November, and we bought a year's card for rail travel. It's called the Golden Ticket.
Golden Ticket.
Willy Wonka and his Golden Ticket.
Yes.
And it was €6 each.
Wow.
And you
it's a
get
big difference.
That is 25
to
to 40% off.
percent off.
And
So
the first time we used it, we got our money
we got
back.
the money back. So when we go again next month, we'll be using that. So
Yeah.
it's things like that I think have made us realise we're in the wrong country for what we want out of life.
For a more affordable life.
A
I
more
suppose.
affordable life and being able to do what we wanted to do when we came here, because that was one of the things, to go on travels to other places from here, but we've found we can't do it as often because we can't afford to. So
But I think you're right, you know, compared to the UK, I mean, I talk to friends and family back in the UK, and it's unbelievable the price they're paying for things.
Yes.
Council tax, for example.
Yeah.
The house that we were in Whitby now, they're approaching £2,500 for council tax.
Yeah.
Where here, you know, you're talking about a 3-bedroomed house with a massive garage, loads of land. Well, not loads of land, but a
Biggish
big
garden.
Compared to the UK.
Compared
Yes,
to
yes.
the UK, it's a massive garden.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And ours is €1,000.
€1,000,
So you're
so
talking
under £1,000
under
About
pounds.
£700 or £800.
Yeah.
Or £800.
Yeah.
you know, you're approaching a third of the.
So that's another plus for here, as opposed to the UK. The council tax is a lot less. Really is.
But a lot of people can sell up in the UK and actually afford to become mortgage free by buying a property here.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well,
Yeah.
we couldn't have become mortgage free in the UK, you know.
And property prices as well. I mean, I think they've just started to rise now, but there has been a slump in prices here, so even more so, houses are much more affordable.
This particular region, I read the other day, is increasing by 15%,
Yeah.
or has
Yeah.
increased
Yeah.
by 15% quite recently.
Which is a good
Yeah.
time for selling.
Yes, that's good for us.
This house, by the way, is for sale.
Yes, come and buy the house. Yes.
But I think we haven't touched on the main
Yes.
reason.
No.
This is the big one.
Okay,
Yep.
let's go for the big one.
The big one.
Why are you moving?
Well, the first big reason is the inheritance laws,
Yes.
which sounds ridiculous, but it's how it can affect you, particularly in our case where I have 4 children. So with second marriage, I have 4 children. Elaine has none. So, in the past, France, along with some other European countries, had forced heirship where the children would get a set allowance, and it doesn't matter what you put in your will, what you want, it doesn't matter. It's forced heirship, which means that my children, if you've got 1 child, it's 25%. If you've got 2 children, it's 50%. 3 or more is 75% of any property that you own. So we sort of knew that before we came over to France. However, in 2015, Europe overrode that rule, and they said if you live within Europe but you are a citizen of a country outside of Europe, you can allocate your UK will, and so you just do your French will and say, I've got a UK will, I want that to apply, which was fine. But then in 2021, the end November 2021, France said, stuff you to Europe, and they said we're putting it back. And since then there's been arguments because people in France, particularly expats, have said, well, that affects us in a big way, so we want that back. So there's now fights on and petitions and all sorts of things with the European Commission to try and get it put back. But how long is that going to take? We don't know.
It's already gone on for 2 years, and it's still going on. And you know, initially, because obviously when we came here, the law was still in place where we could write our wills, so that was fine. That's why we came. If that hadn't have been in place, we wouldn't have come.
Right.
But it was in place, so we came. And then not long after being here, it changed. So, but we thought, right, well, the challenge in it, let's just hopefully see what happens, ride it out. But we've been riding it out for 2 years, and there's still no sign of anything really positive happening in the future. And at the end of the day, we just said, we can't keep just hoping this is going to change, because I wasn't settled. You know, I was worrying if something did happen to Andrew, I was going to be in a right mess, and I thought, that's no way to live.
The main thing it means is that, you know, there would have been, I mean, my children might have been fine, we don't know. But in the future, you don't know what partners they would have, you don't know how things are going to change, you don't know what grandchildren are going to do.
Changes,
you have no idea. So while I can sit here and say, oh, they wouldn't have done that, they wouldn't have left Elaine in that position, who knows?
No.
And nobody can guarantee
No.
that. But it would have meant that, you know, when I put my clogs, it means that Elaine would be unable to sell the house without their permission.
Yeah.
And I would have wanted to do that, because I would have wanted to go back to the UK then.
Yes, yes.
You know, I would have been, I would want to be with people, family, friends, you know, that I know. So without a doubt, that's what I would have wanted to do.
There is that entente clause that you can put in
There
that
is.
would protect you, but you've got to do that
At the point of
at the
sale.
point of sale. And if you don't do that,
It's too late.
you can't change it
No.
unless you sell your house
Yes.
again
And then buy
and then do
again.
it. And that's a hell of an
And
expensive
then
way.
Yes.
something else to
Yeah.
back that up is the cost of reselling your house.
Yeah.
Even if we'd resold it to one or the other or both or
Yeah.
done whatever, the
cost is
legal
almost
fees
like-
of selling and buying,
It's like
buying
buying
a
a
house
house.
over here are
I know.
ridiculous.
I know.
Yeah.
So it seems mad that you can't. It's irreversible.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
you can't go to
Yeah.
you can't go to a notaire and say, "Hey, I want to relook
want
at
to
my
change it,
deeds.
yeah.
I want to change."
Yes,
my
you
deeds too.
I think you should be able to do that,
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't realise that you can do that, and that afterwards it's too late.
Yeah.
But
We fall into that category. We didn't know about it.
yes, well, exactly. And the thing for us is, I think another important point to mention whilst talking about the inheritance and everything, one of the reasons why we didn't go down the Entente route, because we were aware of it, was because we were trying to save Andrew's children from falling into the pit of where they would have to pay 60%
Yes.
inheritance tax. If Andrew died first and I was left and I decided to stay here, then when I died, because they are my stepchildren, they would have to pay 60% tax on my part. So we were trying to cover them,
Yeah.
which meant we couldn't do the Entente, but
It's so complicated,
It is,
isn't it?
yeah. You've really got to look at it
Yeah.
if you are going to go down that route.
Yeah.
But it was that, and then it's other things like I think most of France, unless you're in a city, or there'll be odd places perhaps on the south coast or whatever, that have some sort of life in the winter. France closes for winter.
This region does.
Yes,
Yeah.
certainly does.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit too quiet for us as
Yeah.
well.
It
I think
is, yes.
I hear that, and I think if you want life around you,
Yeah.
then it is
There are
this
other
region
regions, yeah.
isn't
No.
for you, because we on the other hand actually love, we feel like we just go into hibernation in the
Yeah.
winter,
Yes.
and we love it.
Yes.
And you wake up in the morning and it's got that real chill, and but
Yeah.
the weather's lovely, and we go out and we get about. But I think if you actually wanted life in the winter, you know, with lots of restaurants open.
Yeah.
But you're quite right. Most of the restaurants close up,
Yeah.
or they're
For
only
a
open
couple of
very
months,
limited
yeah.
times. And it's a shock at first, because you know we lived in a little high street surrounded by about 16
Yes.
different
Yeah.
restaurants and multiple bars, and we came to here.
Yes.
You know, and you've seen our house. I mean, we do live in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
And even in the winter, we don't use the boat because, you know, the river is at flood, as it were. It's technically called in flood when it's moving fast.
Yeah.
But we've adapted to that and embraced it, I think.
Yes, well, that's it. A lot of people do. You know, I would say possibly it's the majority of people who come here and, like yourselves, they adapt to it and they enjoy that. But then you've got the minority who come, try it, and it's not for them.
Yep.
Which, it's fine, you know, that's,
No, of course.
that's what you have to do, isn't it? Everything's
But I think
not for everyone.
That's been something that's grown, where the inheritance was a big thing right from the start. I think that's something that's grown. And we did research lots of areas, and of course there are areas that have more on, but then on those scales again, there were other things that we didn't like.
No.
But, you know,
And
hindsight's a wonderful thing.
hindsight's a wonderful thing. One of our interviewees said that people should rent before they buy.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Which
just
we did.
live in a place for a
Yeah.
year and see
Yeah.
how they get on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's quite good advice,
Yeah.
isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
We rented.
we rented before we moved here.
Right.
But
And then we would try different areas and stay
Yeah.
for a while in those areas, you know.
because we went to quite a few areas around France. You know, we did Loire Valley,
Brive.
Brive, Cognac.
Loire's lovely, isn't it?
Yes.
It is.
But was it wet?
It was the
fine.
mosquitoes.
It was the mosquitoes. Incredible amounts of mosquitoes the time we were there.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't
I mean,
know.
the,
But it's very
the bad
beautiful
here, but
place.
Yeah.
no,
Gorgeous.
it was
Muscadet.
really, really bad.
It's the land of Muscadet.
Yeah.
Muscadet. Muscadet sur Lee. Our favourite wine.
Brive is beautiful, beautiful area. But
Yeah.
it was just too pricey.
It was too pricey.
You really have tried it.
We
Oh,
have
yes.
we have
We've
definitely
been-
given it our all, without a doubt, and I think that's why, you know, we're not embarrassed or anything to
No.
say that we are moving on because it's not for us, because we know we have given it a try. We haven't just come here for a year. Oh no, this is not for us. We have tried it, and unfortunately, it's
And
just
then-
not.
Can I just say, we haven't touched on the language, have
I
we?
was just
Oh,
about
yeah.
to say, the language. The language is très difficile, very difficult indeed. And despite, I mean, Elaine's done really well, but me, despite lessons every week, despite Duolingo every day, despite French friends who won't speak to me in English, I still struggle with it.
Is that because of the Geordie accent? Do you think?
Possibly, yeah. Yes.
Why, aye, we.
Sounds similar though, doesn't it?
But it does come in handy at times when we've had people in the street who are perhaps touting for business or whatever, and
Asking for money.
asking for money, or you know, they're not hard up
I know
people
what you're
asking for
going to
money.
say.
The well dressed, lovely, clean people, clean fingernails and things, that's asking for money, and people who bother you in the street, let's say. And I'll just say, I'm not a clue what you're saying, Pep. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean, like?
Don't make us laugh on
And
stage.
it tends to end the conversation quite quickly. I don't know any French words.
No, you started a channel, didn't you? Au revoir.
Yes, we did.
And so is that going to become
Well,
Adios
yes,
Pet?
I think that's a very good new
Yeah.
title for
But
it.
I mean, I know you don't do that much content, but I
No,
think
we
you should
don't.
really, because I think your story is lovely. I think you should
Yes,
keep
we.
at it.
Yes,
Keep
I think.
uploading.
We've had at least 20 views on some of them.
Yes, but you might get more views now
Yes.
because the story is, you know, the move is interesting.
Yes,
isn't it?
we did say once we start the sort of whole, right, we've sold, we're ready to move, we're doing this, we might do more. But the videos we've uploaded in the past, as you've seen, they're very sporadic, and you know, we just
hard.
just did them for a laugh, you know.
It's us too, but it's hard. We rigidly upload every Sunday.
Yes.
But it's quite a
It
responsibility.
is, yes. I
because-
mean,
And it takes a bit of time as well.
Yeah, but
Yes,
if we
all your
didn't do
editing
that,
and
we'd have
everything.
people complaining. I think people would come round and bang on the door and say, "Wait, where's my
where's
video
it?
on Sunday?"
Sunday, yeah.
If we keep talking a lot now and talk about like really boring things, you'll have lots more to edit out, won't you? Keep going.
Really
I'm just going to
challenging.
put all the boring stuff in.
Just chop it
Just
out.
leave it run. One thing I would say, and I love this because we've got some cameras here. We've got 3 cameras out actually, but you're used to all this, both of you.
Yes. We love to be centre of attention. Yeah.
And do you still model? Do you still work? I've seen
now and
clips of
again.
you on telly. We were sat watching telly the other day, and up you pop.
Yes, on the DFDS. Well, strangely enough, it's funny you should mention that, Richard. Just this morning I showed you, didn't I? Yeah. One of my Facebook friends has posted a picture, and it is one of my old photos doing blood donors in France. So I popped up around Miramont and Amy on a poster.
In the bus stop where we were
in the bus
waiting
stop,
for the bus.
we're waiting for the
and
bus.
The poster was just behind you.
Yes.
Did you take a picture?
I
Yes.
took the
Oh,
poster.
We took the
fantastic. Let's put this picture up. Come on, let's look at this picture.
It was out of date. The
Yeah.
date of the
Yeah, it had
blood donor session had passed.
Yeah.
So I actually took the poster.
Yeah, we took the poster, but this one is, where is it? We just said we rented for a while in another area.
Yeah.
So that area is where the poster is. So I'm all around France,
So you enjoyed the ride, though?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes, we were just talking about this last night, weren't we?
It's all experience. I mean,
Yeah.
And that thing where you can hold your hands up and say, "We've done it.
Yeah.
We've done it." And having made the break from the UK, which was really hard, friends and family, having made that break, I think we're not sitting here thinking, "Oh, France hasn't worked. We're going straight back to the UK." That's not the case.
I think it's been it is a good stepping stone. We've got 4 years of European living under our belts before going to another EU country.
And trying something different.
Yeah, and we've already started learning the language, which I have to say is a lot easier than French.
We've just got to meet you. We don't want you to go. It's not fair. We're
You
gonna
come
have-
and
Somewhere for you
visit.
to stay.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll have to come and visit you.
Yeah.
So are you
Exactly.
changing the Duolingo app?
We've done it,
You've
yeah.
done it.
Yeah.
We've done it now.
We're already on.
It's
We've
Spanish.
got Spanish books and
Yeah.
yeah.
See?
Right.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That was another thing I used to say to people. Instead of saying "je ne sais pas," I used to say "je ne not know y passe." That would confuse French people. And I saw
Keyboard
you laughing,
hero.
and I didn't look.
Yeah, I know.
because
I
you
could
were
see
laughing.
you when you were saying about, you don't know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
the
Maria,
yeah,
come here. Come here.
She was like,
Sit
what do you want,
sit
pet?
down.
I can't do the accent.
This is just sat on the set. This is cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think?
Well, I was in tears. Absolute tears, because it was just really funny. But yeah, now I've got black eyes because of my mascara. But no,
Well, as
it was
long as you've enjoyed it.
good. Yeah. No,
Yeah, it's been great. I love
not
doing
bothered
them.
whether you do. I enjoy it.
No, but we love doing these, don't we?
We do. And people love the interviews, don't they? So,
That's good.
Yeah, it's good to see real people.
I think really one could say that is your lot, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
It truly is your lot.
So until the next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.